inculcate that culture in them to make a difference in the organization. The point is that why should I deal with you, not your next door? If you have a good culture, you are going to always increase in market share every single day of your life. Peter, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Yes.
Yes.
Peter, I want to ask you this. Are there specific traits for high performance?
Yes, and I've done a lot of research, and it's also part of my MBA project. And I've interviewed 264 C and board level executives from about 35 different countries.
Wow.
So I went quite deep because I thought that's very important, not just to go by 3 or 4 or 5 organizations, but you need to go broad.
264. And you use that for your MBA?
Yes, yeah. It's about the pages of close to 300 pages of research and documents. And I needed to find out myself, because I'm a very curious person, because I've been in business over the last almost 30 years now. God, I'm getting old. And I was very curious always in finding out why are some organizations doing better than others, and why is this that some organizations are doing great and they're now going down to becoming low performing. Like, for example, you know, the company of Nokia, who had 48% market share at some point, biggest mobile phone provider.
Yes.
And then they went down to 3%, 3 to 3.5% when they were sold to Microsoft. And I was always curious of why, because companies work very, very hard, and at the end, at some point, they lose the plot.
Why do you think they went down?
I believe, and there's various reasons, and I want to share one, is thinking we are big, we are, nothing can...
It's getting there in your head, getting swollen, isn't it?
Big, absolutely, yeah. But what happened is, I had a Nokia mobile phone. It was my first mobile phone. And I was very happy with it. And I had a second phone, and I had a third phone, and then after a while I wanted a smartphone. And I couldn't get a smartphone from Nokia. And I was looking around.
You remember the old Nokia 6210, the one that was for businesses, isn't it? The long one. Is it 6210?
Yes, that's the one. That's the one. I had that.
Everybody was having it.
Yeah,
if you are wearing suit, you have to have that one.
Indeed. There was one before, which was like a smaller version.
That's the 8210, isn't it? Very small one.
Yeah. Then you went to larger one, which is a business phone. And I just couldn't find a phone that I really wanted. So I then done some research, and I went for HTC. Yeah, because HTC was offering me what I wanted. I wanted something, a touch phone to go in and out, and this was the thing. And Nokia just didn't see that. They went onto the bandwagon far too late, when Apple,
Samsung penetrated the market,
and they got the market. And before they were thinking, we are
let's
the biggest.
relax.
Let's relax. We are the biggest anyway.
But this affects individuals as well, in terms of trying to achieve something. They get to a certain level and they start relaxing, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And I think it relates to career as well, isn't it?
Yes, and I think that's exactly the point. What we do, what we say to companies, what organizations need to do and must do in order to survive, is to continuous look for new things, continuous development.
So innovation should be constant. It should be consistent.
Consistent, and this is not coming from the top. This is part of the high performance traits. One is clearly leadership. Yeah. Now, most people and consultants and coaches and mentors, they talk about leadership. Yeah. But what's a good leadership is about. Well, let's go back one step, because I've heard, it was about 2 months ago on television, there was a leader, a trainer, who was asked, how do you define leadership? What is leadership? And how do you know whether you are a leader or not? And the trainer answered, well, first of all, you ask your family whether they think you are a leader. Then you ask your friends whether you are a leader. And you know what I did? I switched off the television and I thought, it can't be right. You are a leader. It just not depends on whether you think you are a leader. It depends how many people you have who follow you.
Yes.
And that's the key thing. And if you're going in one direction or another direction, if most people go right, you might go left. Yeah, and it depends how many people you have who follow you, who believe you. Yeah, and for that belief, you need to have the ingrained. It needs to have the passion. Yeah, of and the belief that what you do really works.
So you don't define yourself as a leader, but people that are watching or people that are potentially can follow you should define that you are a leader.
Yeah, absolutely. And then what also happens is with leadership, because you've got transactional and transformational leadership, and the transactional leadership is pretty much like, okay, Oscar, you do this now, please, yeah, press that button, or write this down. This is kind of very much like, okay, here's the transaction, this is what you have to do it.
Get the seal.
Yeah. Get the tick boxes and you're and you're sorted. The transformational side comes from more around, it's more the coaching side. Yeah. So how do you think you can make it better? You do a great job here at Star Radio, fantastic. You got more listeners and so on. That's really, really good, brilliant. Yeah. But what's the added sorry, I lost the plot here. I meant the it's about transformational leadership. Yeah, so it's
transforming.
It's transforming.
Breaking the difference, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what we are doing now, how can we do it better?
Yeah, and getting it out from you,
yes.
Not me telling you, but it's getting out from me. So it's coaching side. Yeah. So what? If I ask that in an audience, most people say, well, the best leadership is certainly the transformational leadership. And I say, well, you're partly right. Because you need both. You need transactional and you need the transformational leadership. You need both. You need to say, Oscar, I think we need to do this. And at the same time, Oscar, how do you think we can improve?
Okay, so these are two different things.
Two different things, but at the right time. Yeah, it's very important.
So the transaction is more of a command, isn't it?
Yes, I mean there's some points.
A command in a nice way.
Yeah, absolutely. But there's some points in your career of when you engage with your company whereby you have to say, actually, Oscar, you need to do this. And Oscar, how do you think we can improve? So it's both. It depends on what works for you. It might be totally different, for Frank. It might be totally different for Sarah. Yeah, but you need to have the right mindset and skills to be able to know how to influence your staff, and that's critical with high performance. But at the same time, also going back to what you said, it's about the continuous development, having almost like an inner drive to continuously develop yourself and others, because then you're going home saying, Friday, brilliant.
Okay.
Monday morning, you're saying, 5 o'clock already, got 2 hours to go until I start work.
Yes, I would like you to come on the high performance, the traits very soon, right? Because you haven't mentioned any other traits.
Yes.
But I just want to open the phone lines quickly. You can call or text. For you to call, you can call us 0208 133 2257, 0208 133 2257, or 0208 133 2258, 0208 133 2258. If you are calling from the States, you can call us on 001718 303 2737, 718 303 2737, or you can WhatsApp us on +44 75 39 66 1744, +44 75 39 66 1744, and I repeat, +44 75 39 66 1744. You can WhatsApp or call us on the WhatsApp phone as well. So please, we'll be waiting for your call. Just ask a question, contribute to the program, then we will appreciate your contribution as well. Now, Peter, the traits. Can you name some of the traits that you need in terms of high performance?
Yes, I mean there are 12 which I have identified, and I'll share with you 3, I think, for that program. And I think number 1 is what we've already discussed, is about the continuous improvement, and that has to be ingrained in an organization. And just to give you an example of what generally happens is, if companies have a product or a service, and then eventually it's like a typical product life cycle. Yeah, it goes up, sales goes up, and eventually it just goes down and it dies. And what organizations are trying to do is to keep things up as long as possible. Yeah. So, okay, the product is not as favorable anymore, we're not making enough money anymore on these things. Let's just see whether we can outsource it. Or see whether we can get another company in another country to do it maybe cheaper. Yeah, Vietnam, for example. Let's get it produced in Vietnam. And that's okay, yeah, but you need to continue the innovation. That's what we said right in the beginning. You need to have the innovation to come in. And if you're not coming up with new products and services that will add value to yourself and to your customers, then again, eventually you will die.
So you are trying to say that instead of outsourcing, you need to innovate on that particular product.
You can outsource. You can, if one product or service will still continue as still relatively profitable, then that's fine. You continue with that, but at the same time, you need to give, and that's why you need to have the right staff, the innovators, the people who are creative entrepreneurs, salespeople who listen, which is very difficult to find, people who really understand the clients, but also not only understanding the clients, but also understanding their clients' clients, yeah, in order to make a real impact. And that's the real issue of what I find as most salespeople, because they just pushing, they're saying, okay, fine, we've got an hour meeting, let's see how much I can sell you, whether we can get an order now or maybe later on.
Do you think companies like Samsung and iPhone, right, they are going to reach their peak in terms of product life cycle? Because the way they are innovating is at a very faster rate. Do you think they can keep the pace and to be consistent the next 50 years?
I'm not sure, but I would think that, I mean, what they're doing is they're trying to make money on coming up with new phones, new services all the time. But this is coming, margins are getting tighter and tighter on things. And do people really nowadays think, do I really need a new phone? Mine I just got 2 years ago. It still works, it's still fine, and okay, the camera is maybe a little bit better. But is that a real difference? Yeah, does it really make a difference to me if I have a better camera or I have the latest phone? Perhaps for the younger audience who want to show off their latest phone, but I would think that they need to come up with other things in order to keep, and other services to keep the momentum going.
What's the next trait?
The next trait is health. And of course I cannot say to organizations that you need to have certain foods, you need to eat healthy, and I think some organizations, they really do that in terms of they offer water, they offer apples and bananas and nuts and so on. But it's very important, because what you eat shows clearly on your physical appearance, but also on your mental appearance as well, and how clearly can you think. And if you're eating really bad processed food over many weeks or months, then this affects your tiredness, your thinking, and so on. And that, again, this will have an impact on how you appear from a physical point of view.
So do you think companies or organizations really do that in terms of coaching their staff to eat healthy?
I think they are doing it much more. I mean, the organization I used to work with is, I mean, we had a food basket there, yeah. We had one of these watches that measure your pulse, your heart rate, which you got for free. But I don't think everyone kind of used it. And I mean, this would be another session in terms of health, what's good, what's not. And it's very much around, I mean, for example, I lost 4 kilos recently. And purely because of exercises, but not only that, I was much more focused on what I eat and when I eat things, because it comes down to discipline. And do you eat in the morning your big English breakfast, or do you have something more healthy? Yeah, ideally less sugary, and I mean with sugar, processed sugar. I mean, I stopped eating sugar for 2 weeks. I felt a lot better afterwards. And the kind of bananas, honey, that's all good sugar. But if you've got the processed stuff of cornflakes and Frosties and perhaps a chocolate bar next to it, that's not the right thing, because that affects you physically, mentally, and it doesn't help you to go in the right direction.
So health is something that is a trait of high performance organizations.
Absolutely.
So, but I think this trait is not popular. That's my guess. It's not popular with a lot of organizations.
Yes, it is, and I think more and more people, though I think it wasn't so popular perhaps like 10-20 years ago, but nowadays you see many more health stores, you see companies are becoming much more aware of things, and also they're having green drinks, yeah. So you have a spinach drink, you can go and get a smoothie with the spinach, yeah. It may not taste as nice as an orange, yeah, but it gives the gut different bacteria that are useful for getting out certain toxics and so on. So that's part of it, yeah. We cannot force people to do it. We never force anything, because again, high performance depends on each company, yeah. And then and the third one, I mean, I covered I covered leadership, I covered continuous improvement, which is part of the whole thing anyway, and I covered health. And the other thing is clearly customer-centric, being focused on the customer. And I think if you are selling something, of course you're selling something to make money and profit. That's, every business has to do that by law anyway. But it's about giving value and sharing value and showing people how much they can save in terms of monetary terms. If you're working with us, you can save X amount, or if you are X amount of money every week, every month, to make it really stick, and being and showing organizations of what value you can bring compared to others. I mean, like for example with us, what differentiates from us from the rest is, I mean, I'll just tell you the rest of most companies, they say we have a process that's time tested. That to me is not,
because that means it's an all fit for every company, isn't it?
Indeed.
But every company is different.
Absolutely, every company is different, and although people say no, we adapt it to your needs, that's, I don't believe that. Yeah, it's some kind of rigid model that's been created and been pushed into companies so they think they can benefit from it. I've seen it many times, it just doesn't work. Because you need to have an open mindset, you need to have your model, but your model has to be agile, flexible for the organizational culture and for how things are working, what their processes have, what their people are, and so on. It's absolutely fine. Also, they're charging horrendous amount of fees. Yeah, sometimes you get a junior consultant who does the work, but a senior who will sell it to you. So you're paying senior consulting fees, but in actual fact someone else does the work. Yeah. And what I find most upsetting is the lip service. Yeah. Of course, Mr. Customer. Yeah. Of course, I totally understand. We'll help you with this as well. Yeah. Of course, you're right. Even though the customer is wrong. Yeah. Or the customer thinks, well, yes, we could do that. Yeah. Yeah. Of course, you can do that. Let's just try that on, just to add on to get more revenue. And it's, to me, that's not honest. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, what we do is we have our holistic approach, because we think training, mentoring, coaching, all these kind of things, boot camps, they don't work. What does work is the right service for the right people and the right organization. So maybe sometimes it could be a mix between boot camps and training, mm-hmm. but then we continue with maybe consultancy work. Mm-hmm. But being engaged with the organization as well, because telling people is very easy.
Yes.
But helping them, putting their sleeves up and saying, yes, let's just work together for a short period of time until you get the momentum of things, and then afterwards you do it yourself and your organization.
You know, I was doing consulting for a company in Ghana, a very small company, and what I did was that I went there to work with them for a week.
Okay.
To identify the culture, the core things that I thought needs to be done right.
I mean, that's great.
And it becomes easier because you pick up all those things that you think needs to be changed, and after the training and development becomes easier.
Yeah, indeed.
And these are some of the things, as you were saying, people do their own training program as a model, and they impose it on the organization. Yeah. That is absolutely wrong, because every company, its culture, the way they do things is different. Yeah. So you need to see it firsthand, have that experience before you can do a tailor-made training program or consulting for that particular company.
And also that's a great thing, because we also do that, because you then develop some kind of trust with not only the owners but also with staff as well, and you see things that are doing well, people doing well, things they're not so doing so well, where they can go and so on. You've got ideas to help them to identify that themselves, and then take them to the next level, where they want to go. And that's the proper thing, not just like, okay, let's just do a training. It might work, it might not work, but we'll get some money for it.
Yes. Wow, it's been wonderful. It's been very, very wonderful. Now I think we've got a lot of people that are watching us on Facebook, and I would like to say hi to Makosa, hi to Rosemary Dogbe, Victor Atiasi, Shayo, Emily, Gideon, and Sami Ama. Please continue to watch us. Next week we are here. We're almost done today. Next week we are here the same time, and we are going to talk about how to improve education in Africa with a strategic focus on the youth, because they are the next generation. And I will have with me here Jules Boma, a young lady, vibrant lady who is absolutely doing well, and she will come here and share some ideas with us, so you can't afford to miss it. Yes, your last word, Peter.
Well, my passion really is to get what we do into organizations, and it's all great to listen to these things, and I really hope that all the listeners have taken some information on board, but these 2 hours is just a very short drop in the ocean. Now it's all about doing it. and being open for things, for new things to do, and putting them into practice and seeing how things are. And if things are working, fantastic, increase it. If things are not so working, great. You know that it don't work, but change it and continue growing into a high performance organization, whatever this is for your organization. But I wish you all the very best. If you've got some questions you have, you can please also go onto my website, which is petergerlach.com. That's www.petergerlach.com. And I wish you all the very, very best. And as I said, it's all about the implementation of the knowledge, because that's the only thing where you know whether things work for you or they don't.
In simple brief, what should companies expect from you? Very briefly, what should companies expect from you?
They expect from me to help them to survive and continue growing for the next decades. This is what it is, because if they're not engaging with us, and they always do what they've always done, they will most certainly die sooner or later.
Exactly.
It's all about engaging with us, and it's very cost effective, very it's a long-term, medium-term focus of what we do. We give companies the strategy, the implementation of what they need to go from A to B and to get out of the cul-de-sac that eventually will lead to nowhere. So it's all about success, growth, revenue, profits, and differentiation, and it's about competitive advantage. That's what it's all about. It's about how do you differ from the rest of the company, because if you don't do it, other people will do, and you'll die.
Performance, 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 and not just performance, high performance. How can you be distinct in the market? Why should I deal with you, not your next door neighbor? How can you increase your market share? It's all about organizational culture. How do you build it?